Hello all and welcome back to the Beer&Tech Podcast. This is the second episode that we've done. The first episode you may have remembered, we were in Spain enjoying the hot weather, and now we're back in the sunny UK with no hot weather, no light at all. But
it was a good thing. Yeah, go on.
We do have beers.
Beer.
Cheers,
Yay.
Dad.
Cheers.
We've got different types of beer this time. So Dad has gone for
the bottles of Stella Artois.
Stella Artois, and I've gone for some Corona. A bit better from my cider that I had last time. I had a Copperberg last time.
Yeah, Copperberg. That was fruity though, wasn't it? You moved away from fruity ciders.
I've moved away. Moved up in the world. Corona and Sol are my beer of choice. Will you ever have any different types of beer aside from your Stella and San Miguel?
Well, I like a bit of Peroni.
Yeah.
Every now and again. And what did I have the other day? Estrella?
Estrella?
Estrella, maybe Estrella.
Right, so Dad, what we're going to talk about today, we've got a few things that I want to dive into. We've got the new iPads. Yeah. What's your thoughts on them? You've got the second generation iPad Pro. They've now released the third generation iPad Pros. We're going to talk about the touch bar. Is the touch bar dead? I have a Mac with the touch bar. Dad's one does not. He's stuck in the old age. We're going to look into the future of ports and if USB-C is that future, seeing as the new iPads now do have USB-C. We're going to talk about smart home tech. Dad got an amp. I'm on the Sonos camp. And that's a bit of a controversial one because we disagree. So we'll crack on with that. And then we're also going to talk about banking and Monzo and Starling, the challenger banks, why I love them, and sort of where banking is going as a whole. Dad in his job does financial inclusion. So he's sort of well placed to look into banking and accessibility of money, I guess, and bank accounts.
Yeah, services, products and services, certainly for those who are excluded from mainstream banking services. Yeah. What else is out there for them? Yeah,
definitely. All right, so what should we start with?
What was the first one on your list?
iPads.
Let's talk
iPads. So as I just mentioned, Dad has the second generation 10.5-inch iPad Pro. Apple have just released their 11-inch one. They've made the screen a bit bigger, and then they've shrunken the size down to the 12.9 one. Remove the home button. What do you think of that? No home button.
Well, I'm into Face ID.
Yeah.
You know, we've got it on the Apple phones. I love it. It just worked. The Finger ID worked fine as well, but I think Face ID is the future.
Well, I was always sort of anti-Face ID when it first came out in the iPhone 10 because I just like the convenience of having the fingerprint reader. So if I'm using Apple Pay, for instance, I just like not having to like bring the phone to my face, and then when like the phone's on the table like yours is now, I didn't want to have to lean over it all the time. I wanted to just be able to just put my finger down. But since I've got the iPhone XS now, I upgraded from my iPhone 8. I don't know what I was worried about.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think it, as I say, I think it's the future. It does work really well. And the thing you're talking about Apple Pay, well, one thing I've noticed, I've got the new Series 4 Apple Watch. Well, you don't need to then use your phone, you just use your watch to pay.
How have you found Apple Pay on your watch? Because I've seen you a few times today, when you've got your phone in your hand, you've rolled up your jacket and got the watch out and gone for the whole...
I like it. I like the novelty of it. There is a novelty about paying things on your phone, but also
watch.
On your watch. But also, you don't have to get your phone out every time. Admittedly, today I've had my phone in my hand at the same time because we've been talking about phone stuff. But lots of time at work, I won't even get my phone out of the pocket, and I'll just use the watch. I'm loving it.
Do you have to double tap the button for it, or can you just sort of?
You double tap to make it work.
Can you not just like on the phones where you don't have to? You can just hover it.
No.
Interesting. I think they should do that where you just hover it over something to pay.
I think there needs to be some type of security there, doesn't there? Else you could hover everywhere and be paying for stuff a bit
No,
No,
I just
there's a
because
shake
you're
of
not
the
going to
head.
be.
There's a shake of
I've
the head.
accidentally hovered my watch over a payment thing.
Well,
It's only
we had a bit of a conversation today, didn't we? We hopped on the bus into Hammersmith today, and I've got out the old style Oyster card that I've had for years. Use that to travel around London. And what have you used? You've used your phone.
yeah. I always use my phone.
Use your phone. Didn't use your watch though, did you?
No, because I always have my phone in my hand a lot, but I can just like hold my phone there. It's like in a natural position instead of getting my watch up, having to
Maybe you should
find the
try
button
it
and
for a
double.
week and see. Maybe I should try. I haven't tried using Apple Pay in my transport journeys as well. Whether that is on Monza. I know we're talking about Monza a bit later, but also I've got a NatWest account as well. And I seem to use that loads on the watch. I like the way the technology is going. There is one big but here though that I notice time and time again. It's when you go out maybe to the suburbs away from London.
Oh yeah.
And then it can be a bit dicey when you haven't got any cash and you're used to paying with whether it's just your phone or just your watch. It does cause some issues there.
But yeah, you're right. When you do go out into the suburbs or somewhere else, I don't carry cash around me anywhere. And
It's because you've never got any cash, full stop.
no, that's true. But I don't. So if there's no card machine or no contactless, I struggle.
Would you say you're an urbanite then?
Oh, 100%. Like I regularly go out without my wallet and just my phone. I like using Apple Pay wherever I can. I don't use the watch for Apple Pay, just because I don't know. It's just awkward for me. But maybe I will trial it. Maybe I'll trial it for a week.
Maybe both of us should go away and do certainly a week of travelling and shopping, just using the watch and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll report back.
What are your thoughts generally on the new Apple Watch? Because I'm not sure. I didn't have my Apple Watch last podcast we did.
Well, I definitely didn't have mine then.
So we've both had Apple Watches. So let's do our first take on what we think of the Apple Watch, and then also what we feel about the new
I suppose
version.
you need to start first of all, don't you, with the Series 3 watch?
Yeah. So I wasn't oversold on the Apple Watch when it first came out. It seemed quite expensive for what it was, and was it really needed? But I decided to get one. I just wanted to try it out, see what it was like, see if the notifications were good. They've released some new features. The Series 3 was just a more refined version of the Apple Watch. So I picked one up, Nike Plus version, and I've been really, really impressed with it. It's been so useful for all sorts. Notifications, obviously the main thing. It is so good just getting notifications on your watch. If you're in a meeting or whatever, you get a phone call, you get a text. It's good to just see it come through. As you can see, I get one coming in straight away. It's good just to have notifications there ready on your watch instead of having to take your phone out, because you're not always going to have your phone on you.
I agree. One thing I noticed on your one, you've got the red dotted version, which means you've got cellular on your version. The version I've got, I have no cellular. What's your thought on that?
Well, I may well have cellular, but I'm not on a network that supports cellular.
There's only one in this country, isn't there?
One network is EE, and I didn't. So when I got the watch, because it was on sale, and it was only the cellular one on sale, I got quite a good deal on it. But I've never actually used the... So that would be a real challenge if... Is your one cellular?
No, it's not.
So I think it would be a real challenge if you could go out without your phone. No wallet, no phone, and just live with your watch. I mean, that's the sort of idea of it being... or it having cellular.
That's perhaps the next stage in stuff, isn't it? When the cellular comes to all of the certainly in the UK, all of the providers, then that could really be a game changer, couldn't it?
Yeah, but we use our phones for so much now. So much. I live off using my phone for everything. For emails, for Twitter, and there's so much you can now do on these little pocket computers. And I just feel like the trade-off of not having the phone is too much. But I like where they're going with it. If more networks in the UK can support having cellular, then I think it will be useful, but only for like, I'm just going to the shops. I can leave my phone behind. What's your thoughts on smartphones in general and people being addicted to them and trying to break off from using them so much?
Oh, that's a really hard one, isn't it? I love the technology. Yes, we are on them a lot. I've been looking at the screen time that Apple have now put into certainly the iWatch and the iPad in OS 12. I can see how much I'm using and what I'm using it for. Interestingly, a lot of my screen time is around productivity. I'm actually doing something.
Like what?
I'm working on it. So
open up your phone. I want to see your.
We want to see what it says,
and we'll compare.
It'd be interesting to see whether this proves me completely right or completely wrong now.
Can you just search screen time?
So I've got screen time down the bottom. Let's have a look and see what I've got. So mine says reading and reference 40 minutes, 18 minutes for social media and 5 minutes for entertainment. So looking at how that sort of breaks down, I'm reading the Times newspaper and the Wall Street Journal as the main things I'm doing. So I'm reading that when I'm on train journeys, etc.
Interesting.
What's yours?
Let's see yours. You're looking for the week. Okay, so so what's your total?
I think that's today. I think that's just today.
Just today. So you're 1 hour 36. I'm 2 hour 46.
let's see what you've been doing.
So I have 1 hour on social networking and 33 minutes on entertainment and 10 minutes on creativity. Go to your last 7 days quickly.
Last 7 days. Let's press and see what it says.
That'll be very interesting.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll have to take my glasses off to have a look at what this is saying. So I've got reading and reference 3 hours 47.
What's your total, like your average per day?
1.49.
1 hour 49.
1 hour 49. Yeah.
Interesting.
What's yours?
3 hour 23.
Okay, so you're on it double.
I'm double
how I'm on it.
Interesting.
But my reading and reference, I'm sure, is a lot higher than yours.
Reading and reference isn't even on my.
Yeah, so I do a lot of searching for stuff. Actually, it says here I've used 55 minutes worth of work on there because I do my emails, etc. through there. What about productivity? Have you got that?
Yeah, productivity is on my top 3. So my top 3.
I feel like we're doing top trumps on screen time here.
So your top 3. You've got what's your first one?
Reading and reference 3 hours 47.
3 hours 47. What's next?
Productivity.
Nice. How many?
2 hours 29.
You do more productivity than me per week.
Well, we know that. And then on other, I've got 1 hour 16.
Other, so
I've got another. I don't know what other actually means.
Interesting. So my top one's social networking.
Yeah.
10 hours 37
Whoa.
this week. Next, entertainment.
Yeah.
3 hours 12.
So that I presume that's things like Netflix, YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube actually just YouTube. YouTube and Pocket Cast, my podcasting.
Okay, but that's a bit of work though, isn't it?
Yeah, I would maybe
work
put
and
that.
pleasure.
Yeah, I'd put. I know Pocket Cast is reading and reference. Yeah, it's one of my top ones. So YouTube is entertainment. Amazon maybe. Amazon's other. No, I don't know where else I've ranked.
I'm just laughing at mine. I've spent 25 minutes on Ocado shopping. But then at least I haven't had to go around to the shops to do the food shopping.
It's true. Productivity, I've got as my last one on 1 hour 42. What's your weekly total?
1 hour 49.
No, your weekly total.
Oh, sorry, 12 hours 44.
So yeah, I'm double. Mine's 23.
So you're on your phone double. What would be really interesting is a comparison on iPad, because you don't have an iPad at the moment, do you? But I will switch between my iPad and this. So maybe if we added my iPad and this together, I wonder if it comes close to yours.
That would be really interesting. Like, really interesting. What's your most used app?
Most used is BBC News.
Oh, my God.
Is that old man syndrome?
That really
there?
is. How many hours on BBC News?
1 hour 38 for the week.
Wow. My most used is a lot more. It's 4 times the amount, but on one app. My top is Twitter.
Wow.
4 hours 22 on Twitter. But I love Twitter. If you want to, I'm at J McKinven on Twitter.
And I have to say, I'm at McKinven on Twitter. I was there first of all.
You were.
But my Twitter usage is 22 minutes. Is that quite
I've
sad?
got 4 hours more Twitter usage than you. That is very bad. I need to get you on Twitter more. I love it. There's a great community on there, loads of cool tech people. So what's your second most?
Second most is Safari.
Next?
my work app where I look at my emails, etc., and then my mail app. And at the rear of that is the Times. So I do consume a lot of information on the phone.
You really do?
I don't get a newspaper, etc. I get it all on my phone and have done. I've been a Times subscriber probably for the last 8 years.
Interesting. So I get a lot of my news from Twitter. Mm-hmm. That's what I don't like read the news. I'll scroll Twitter to see what's going on. My next is YouTube, then WhatsApp, then Instagram messages. Do you set time limits on anything?
No, don't be silly.
I've got a time limit on Instagram of 20 minutes a day.
One thing that I'd be interested in doing, and we'll go back and ask the same generation as you, but a few years younger, to see what your younger sisters are doing. Because they'll probably have more time.
I'm going to text her now and see if she'll screenshot and send to me.
See if she find out. Okay, we'll see what happens there.
So let me just quickly... This is live research for you here.
Actually, as you're talking about live research, I'm down 14% from last week on my screen time. So,
can you screenshot your usage like this and send to me for a video? There we go. So that was a bit of a tangent on our actual usage.
We were talking about watches, weren't we?
But you didn't answer my question of like, what's your thoughts on smartphones in general, and if they're sort of taking over our lives, and if we need to sort of reel it back in a little bit. Because I watched a video by a guy called Matt Devella. I recommend watching it because he took a 30-day detox from social media, just completely stopped using it, and I thought it was really, really fascinating to see. He said, I felt so much better. And I was leaving my phone at home. And I think that is part of a bigger problem, because I think social media and the timer on our phones is really bad and detrimental to our mental health. I honestly do think that. And you see, I use my phone a lot. I find all my news, I do my work on it. But what do I actually gain from that? Should I be like, instead of when I sit on the train or I'm going out somewhere, should I be sitting and scrolling through my phone, or should I be like lifting my head up? When I'm taking a break from actual work, should I go and actually
interact with
do
people,
something, or get my, because I'm going from a screen on my laptop to then my phone screen. Should I be doing something else, something a little bit more valuable?
Well, I think with all of these things, it's about extremes. I do think we spend a lot of time. I mean, we've just researched that you're spending double the amount of time than I am on the phone. So I think that is something to be looked at. When we're reading stuff, I suppose it depends what we're doing. I mean, I'm reading the newspaper, but so in the days when I started work, I would be having the broadsheet paper. And so that hasn't. It's just how I'm consuming it is a bit different, but by using the screen. So I don't think that way I need to detox at all. It's just I get my media in another way. So we did some online research straight away, didn't we? What was the answer about screen time?
You are the little sister, the other generation.
Yeah.
Oh my! She's just sent it through. It is quite scary. So get yours up again.
Are we doing like 7 days or 1 day?
7 days. Oh my!
Go on then.
This will really tickle you. So yours is
1 hour.
Sorry, can
50.
you announce your age first, please?
No, 1 hour 50.
A 49-year-old has 1 hour 50. 21-year-old 2 hour 56. Teenager has 6 hours 37 per day. Oh my!
There is probably a bit of a proviso to that.
What's that?
We probably need to see the week before.
What?
Because she's been off ill all week.
Okay, but it just gives us an idea. There is 24 hours this week on entertainment, 14 hours on games, and 1 hour 59 on social networking.
Okay.
What social network is that, Dad?
Oh, I don't know.
23 hours of her time has gone on YouTube. The next one is called Granny. That's all it's called. And she's just said, a horror game I'm playing it right now to go on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I know what Granny is.
Granny, yeah. So that's interesting. So majority of what...
So you don't use your phone that much compared to the next generation?
No, I don't. That's scary, isn't it? And we thought that I had W and that was crazy. She's like 6 times the amount that you do.
And 3 times your amount.
That's crazy.
But I think I would want to see a different week as well, because I think it will probably halve.
I don't think you can see the week before.
You must be able to somewhere.
No, either way, very interesting.
Yeah,
to see the difference. I'm not too sure where else.
Well, I wanted to go back to iWatch.
Okay,
because I know we were talking about that.
An iWatch.
To go back to iWatch.
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch.
Okay, good.
Apple Watch. iWatch, Apple Watch. Anyway. And the reason why I wanted to go back to it is one of the things that I've certainly noticed for me is around the activity and the activity rings.
Yeah.
And walking. I do measure it. I do look at it. And I haven't got the settings to high, but I do try and achieve what I've got. So that sort of helped in my exercise. I love the way that it measures your pulse, and you can see how that's doing. You can see when I have exercised and when I haven't. Utilise it for that. One thing I used it for today that I haven't done before is I used it on the walk round to you from the station.
I've also found the fitness and the rings quite useful when I'm like doing my cycles. So I use it to track my cycles, and it's really interesting to see my heart rate as I'm cycling, how it's fluctuating. I hit my goals every day. I probably need to increase them, but I think you should also be increasing your goals and trying to hit them every day and be doing exercise with it. But I think that's very useful for anyone who is looking to lose weight or looking to start a fitness journey. Actually getting an Apple Watch for that reason, so they can start tracking it and using it for that. I think it's very helpful.
Yeah, I think for the medical it works really well. And I say just keeping an eye on what you're doing is really handy. And I've certainly done more, I suppose, outdoor walks to ensure that I can hit the steps I need to hit, and looking to increase that. So certainly used it for that. And the thing today that I used it for the first time, I used the Apple version of Maps to get from here to your place from the nearest tube station. Found it really good for 2 things. One, I was listening to my Jabra headphones to some music, but it kept on telling me when I needed to turn. So it was directing me through there, and I was looking at it on my watch, where to go. Found it really worthwhile. So, yeah, all I can say is to people, I certainly recommend it.
Yeah, I'd agree. The other thing I found it useful for is actually turning up the volume on your headphones. Does that work with your headphones?
It does work with my headphones,
okay,
and additionally to that, don't know if you know, the Spotify app has just come out on the watch, and so you can control your Sonos speakers, your Echo if you use that through Amazon. You can make sure the music is controlled via your watch. You don't need to get your phone for it. Love it for that.
Yeah, I agree. So overall, we both like our new
thumbs
Apple
up,
watches. Yeah,
2 thumbs or 1 thumb?
2 thumbs.
2 thumbs.
Love it. I think it's the perfect accessory for anyone who has an iPhone. It's the best smartwatch out there as well. What do you think of the price? Like £400? Do you think it's expensive? Too expensive?
No, I don't think it's too. I think you pay for what you get. I mean, I did have, when I was on the Android, so I think I had one of the first Samsung smartwatches that came out. I think, I can't try. I think that was probably £300 when that came out.
Wow.
So I don't think the price is an issue. I think it's an amazing piece of kit. I think it's moved on so far from where we were previously. I like the size of it. Just works.
Agreed. All right. We actually went on a tangent there from talking about iPads.
Yes.
So we got into our iPhones and then to the watch.
It's an Apple podcast then.
It is at the moment, isn't it? We will get on to something different, but...
Do you reckon they'll sponsor us?
Yeah. I reckon.
We ask them?
Yeah. We'll send an email to all our contacts at Apple. We
Tim?
own enough. Tim. Yeah, old Tim. We should try sending him an email.
Yeah.
And report back on the next podcast whether or not it was...
It's worthwhile doing, isn't it?
Okay, let me make a note. email Tim Cook for sponsorship.
I think we'll be really interested if we report back. Did he respond?
Yeah, I think first question, did he respond? 2, did we get our sponsorship?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on the new iPad Pros as an iPad Pro owner from the previous generation? Do you think it was a good upgrade? They've obviously bumped the price up as well. What are your thoughts on it?
What are my thoughts on it? Well, I've only had a little bit of time to play around with it. Intrigued that they've gone to USB-C. Actually, I think they possibly should have done that on the last iPhone
New iPhones,
update
agreed.
as well. I love standardisation, and I think if we could move to USB-C...
Who doesn't love standardisation?
Exactly, and you're probably like me, James. I don't know how many cables you have in your bag for different... Whether it's camera, whether it's the old USBs, the USB-A, B and C, lightning ports, etc. I'd love just to have one standard that everybody uses out there, be able to take one USB-C cable that would utilise everything. So I think it's great that they're going down that route. Really pleased to see that happening. The pencil, actually, it's got a really good feature on the pencil. I love that you don't have to plug it into the side, so it looks like a big aerial. The
new Apple Pencil, for me, the new iPad Pro is a huge upgrade, and they've actually managed to make the already good-looking iPad Pro look old-fashioned. They've made it look old-fashioned by removing that home button and by shrinking the bezels, I guess.
We should be able to compare that, though, shouldn't we? We should have had the two of them here. I didn't bring my one along. But we should be able to look at them side by side.
We should.
And see what it's at. Again, Apple, come on, send us some so we can have a look at them.
Maybe in the next podcast I'll bring my one along.
Oh, it sounds like there's a purchase happening.
There needs to be. I'm really intrigued by it.
What would you go for? What size?
Guess what size?
I think you'll go for the 11-inch.
100%. I like how they shrunk the body down for the new 12.9-inch, but I still just like that form factor.
Yeah.
They've made the screen a little bit bigger than your one, so that would be the one I get. But
so is this competition with me? You just want a bigger screen?
Always competition. Does
that mean I have to go and get the 12.9? I actually think that's a bit too big. For that,
yeah.
But I do like the 10.5, and I think I probably prefer the 11 inside for reading documentation. You see, I do a lot of time reading on the iPad. Yeah, I love that.
Do you use any of the Pro features of the iPad Pro? Why not just get the £300 iPad?
I have a cellular one. I don't think the £300 one there's a cellular version of it. Could be wrong. So that means if I'm out and about, I can access what I need to wherever I am. So that's quite important to me in the terms of the iPad.
It does have cellular, actually.
Oh, okay. So let's scrub that one then. It does have cellular. I just the lightness of it. The keyboard is very important to me. They use the keyboard. Does the 9.7 have the keyboard? This is the new upgrade on the one. Okay. Well, when I got it, they didn't have that version on the 9.7.
True.
And again, I think it's really important to have that iPad connector rather than the Bluetooth connector, because you can unfold it and start working straight away the same way you would on a laptop.
So, do you use any of the Pro features apart from that?
When you started Pro features, what are you trying to get at?
Well, I don't know. You have one.
Yeah, but
it's double the price, and if people are trying to consider which one they get, why would they choose an iPad Pro over the iPad? How can you justify double the cost? And we're talking specifically about the 10.5-inch one here.
Okay, so are we talking about 10.5 to the 11-inch one, or are we talking 10.5 to the 9.7?
10.5 to 9.7, then we'll go from 10.5 to 11.
Okay, so let's talk 10.5 to 9.7. The 9.7 was not available when I got the 10.5.
Agreed.
So it just wasn't an option. There was the 9.7 iPad, but it didn't have any Pro features. So the Pro features was using the pencil, and I do use the pencil every day, whether it's to write down notes or I've got big fingers. Those looking at the podcast can see. And actually, I sometimes, especially if I'm using things that use minutiae, if you like, to try and close down apps, etc. I can't use my fingers; they don't quite work. So the pen's really good for that. So the preciseness of the pen and scribbling, and I like to think that I'm an artist at times. I even use it to scribble. Stickmen.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think it's worth the extra £300 to go up to the 10.5 inch one because of how good the £300 iPad now is. Now you can connect the keyboard to it. You can use the Apple Pencil. So there is one thing the 10.5 does have is that lovely 120 hertz display, the True Motion,
which again for me it's probably when you're watching video on it, it's really clear and really precise. I'm not sure other than that.
Just navigating, it's nice.
Well, it's very smooth. It's the ability to. I find it just works fast. It just works fast and well for what you want to do. I used it on the train going this morning. Not this morning. Yesterday I was running a bit late for work because of train delays, but I managed to do all my work on it in the morning before I got into the office. Yeah. So that was really good.
Yeah, I agree. And the new 11-inch iPad Pro, I think I personally think is a worthwhile upgrade from the 10.5 because of how nice that screen is. The new Apple Pencil it's an upgrade. That charging is just so nice. The design, it makes it futuristic. You've got the Face ID. If I was you, I'd be seriously considering upgrading it.
I'm not convinced. My iPad Pro, I've had it for probably just over a year, probably about 18 months. I don't think I need to upgrade it. It works for me. I think if I was on the older iPad, then I'd go straight to the 11. But I think what I've got, it works for what I need. I don't see the need to upgrade at this moment in time. I'd probably put again and ask out to Apple, should I upgrade? Tell me a bit more.
Yeah, so we want to know, guys watching the YouTube video, leave us a comment. Should Dad upgrade to the 11-inch iPad Pro from his 10.5-inch one? I think it should be done. Either way, I think it's a very, very good product that Apple have made. It is so powerful. You can edit 4K video on it. I do have an argument to say that an iPad Pro cannot replace a laptop.
Yeah.
They are trying to... There's some articles I'll link
could
as
it
well.
replace a laptop or a MacBook or a MacBook Air?
A laptop. All of it.
So that includes all of them?
I don't think it can because... The file management, especially for creatives, I'm sure for someone, the iOS is not built to do the tasks that you'd usually do on a laptop or a computer.
Haven't they just brought out the new Adobe Pro editing
Photoshop? Yeah, but that's all well and good. But it's the actual file management of getting those photos onto the iPad and then editing them. There's no file management features, so which for any creative, which is the main target audience for the iPad Pro are the creatives, you can't manage those files the way you need to. Another thing is you cannot plug in an external hard drive, much like you would with a laptop, to edit your photos, to do your podcast.
Can we not do that with a USB-C?
No.
So you still can't do that? Okay. I think you're probably absolutely right. I think that for me, I can do 90% of what I need to do on the iPad Pro.
Yeah, we mentioned this.
It still leaves a 10% where I can't. But maybe that's fine. So the majority of the time I can lug around the iPad Pro. Occasionally, the MacBook Pro has to go in the bag.
They're taking a really, really good step towards it, and there's a YouTuber called Jonathan Morrison who edited a full video on it. He also looked at a guy that was actually producing music on it, and it is such a powerful device. Yeah. It is so good. It is leaps and bounds beyond everything else. It's convenient, but they haven't got the software or the infrastructure there the way they need to for people to actually use it as a pro device for pro things like music, like video, like photos. Then other business users, the guys that use Excel and they want to do reporting, you struggle to do all of that the way you want to. It's like copy and pasting things and grabbing files.
Maybe we'll have to try and play around. Maybe we'll have to try and do something on a MacBook, on the iPad Pro, and see how long
See
it
which
takes.
is quicker.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
And I think the laptop will always come out on top.
There's an idea.
Definitely. All right, should we move on because we've been stuck on iPads and our tangent.
Yeah.
Right, what should we talk about next? Okay, we can go on to laptops again. We shall talk about the MacBook Air that was released. Dad, why did they release the MacBook Air? Do you agree with it?
No idea if the truth be known. Well, I think the old MacBook Air certainly needed to be upgraded from where it was, and there was a big call. There's a lot of love for MacBook Airs out there, and I can see why. I've seen people use them for many, many years. For me, though, I'm not sure the upgrade is worth it. If I had the choice, I'd go for a MacBook Pro every day over the MacBook Air.
Agreed. And I think that should be the case for anyone who is considering a MacBook Air, because the specs, they're worse. The price, it's about £250 less. You get less functionality. You do get Touch ID, which is great from the
we'll have a question about Touch ID in a bit.
Cool.
I haven't got Touch ID on ID.
Because you've
On
got
my
the entry-level MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I got the entry-level MacBook Pro. Love it. Moved over to it. Boy, I certainly find it a lot quicker than Windows.
Definitely.
It sort of works. It does what good. Plugging into screens. Two USB-C ports. They're working for me. No problem at all. I haven't needed any more. And I know you've got 4 sitting on your one. Touch ID. I just don't see it.
I agree. I do. It's a nice to have, but I certainly could live without it. We'll get onto the touch bar and whether or not we think that's useful in just a sec.
Actually, interestingly, we were talking about Apple Watch. Apple Watch opens your MacBook now.
Yeah.
Don't even need your finger for it.
Exactly. Touch ID for me, it doesn't do it.
So what about touch bar then? Have we got a different opinion around the touch bar?
Well, we would do because my laptop...
You've got one, I haven't.
Exactly. I just see it as jealousy. For me...
Do you use it every day?
Every day. I like it.
What do you use it for?
I use it for... It's just... I like the touch bar because I'm pro touch bar. I like it. I mean, it's not life-changing. I don't think it really particularly makes my life any more convenient or improves my workflow. It's just nice. Like...
How does it affect battery life?
I don't know, because...
You haven't noticed you're always plugged in?
I'm always plugged in, but I'm doing different things. I'm doing video editing, which is very
Does it work for
intensive.
video editing with you? Can you use it? I know if you're doing some editing, sometimes it comes up along the touch bar. Do you use it anywhere there?
Let me finish my sentence and maybe I'll explain why I like it.
Answer the question.
I like how the touch bar, it adapts to any different app I'm using, and it just gives me a little bit extra functionality within that app. For editing, I've got my keyboard shortcuts, though I don't use the touch bar. But it's stuff like taking a screenshot. I've got a shortcut there on the touch bar.
Did you create that, or was it there?
You can put it in.
Okay.
It's just part of the customization. Little things in different apps. It just changes it. Just gives that little bit of added functionality. If they decided to get rid of the touch bar, I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it. I don't think it adds much to it, but I mean, it's nice. It's nice. I'm pro touch bar. I've got it. I like it.
It's nice, but it's not a definite. It wouldn't break your heart if it disappeared.
No, absolutely not. Like when they removed the SD card slot and MagSafe, that broke my heart.
But if you were saying to somebody who doesn't want to come into the entry level where it's not there, if you can go a little bit more, yeah, it's probably quite nice to have.
It's nice to have, but to be honest, there is no person that goes, I really want to spend that little bit more to get the touch bar. It's I want to spend a little bit more and get the extra USB-C ports. It's I want to spend a little bit more and I want to get the bigger hard drive or the better processor, not the touch bar. So I'm pro touch bar because on different apps I go to, it gives me more functionality. Just little things like when I'm on Outlook, I've got a little shortcut that lets me delete emails or go to my calendar. There's no keyboard shortcut I've got to go to my calendar. I just like tapping it and there I am. I'm in my calendar. Instead of moving my mouse down, it just adds a little bit of extra functionality that is useful to me.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's my take on it.
All right. But where does it go from here? Can it be expanded? And
Yeah, they need to make it completely customizable. Like you can customize all of your keyboard shortcuts, you should be able to customize whatever functionality you want out of it. So if I want to select half of an email or change my signature, I want to be able to do that in the touch bar, but I want to be able to completely customize it, because when I go to write a new email, it only gives me, the only functionality here is to send. I want to be able to take any bit of this.
So you want to be able to make those bits for yourself, so it becomes even part of your everyday working life. It will make it easier for you.
Yeah, but that I like it. I like touch bar.
Okay.
Have I made you think a little bit about it? Are you still completely anti it?
I wouldn't go out to buy one specifically with it on.
I think that is generally like our view on it. It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice, but yeah. Zana's just texted me saying, don't forget this was me sick, home alone all week. So she also made that point, just to clarify.
Yeah, but did she, maybe she go back and tell her, yes, but did you know you were 3 times more than I used?
Baffling. So what about your general thoughts on the MacBook Air? So I
don't see any need for it. I really don't.
There isn't. And if anyone's going to buy a new laptop, 100% spend the extra money and get the MacBook Pro, because it feels nicer. You can get a quad-core processor if you want to. It is 100% worth the extra bit of money. The reason they have released the MacBook Air, though, is because of the brand. The MacBook Air brand, the reason the MacBook Air was so useful, it was the cheapest MacBook you could get. And I think that what Apple should have done is reduce the... Got what you going to say?
No, I was going to say, but they did produce the MacBook, didn't they?
Yeah. And this is why the MacBook lineup is so confusing now. They've sort of... So the iPad Air, the MacBook Air, is now in the middle of the MacBook 12-inch and the MacBook Pro. It's just in the middle where they didn't need that middle device. But it was because of the brand that they have behind the MacBook Air. People got it because it's the entry level, it's the cheapest. People just go in and buy it, and it still sells so well. So they knew they could make money out of it.
It did sell well. Whether it's going to sell well going forward, I'm not so sure. I think... would you say 250 quid more? I'd probably go for a little bit more and get the Pro. You know, I hummed and hawed about did I get the MacBook, just the normal MacBook, before I went and got the Pro. So pleased I didn't.
Yeah.
I think it looks lovely, but it's so underpowered. And I think that's probably similar. I'd say a similar thing to the MacBook Air. I think it looks good. It's underpowered though.
Yeah, I agree. So MacBook Air, don't buy one, but we can see why Apple's released it.
Yeah.
I think they will still just sell shit tons of them.
Watch this space.
Watch this space. Right, USB-C. Is the future USB-C? I don't think this is going to be a very long segment.
I think we've already agreed.
Yes, it is 100%.
It's the way, and we want to see more manufacturers go with it. Let's push it. We want to see it in phones. There's a lot more Android phones have certainly gone to USB-C, haven't they? One cable does all. Will be brilliant for all of us.
Move nearer to that.
Move nearer.
Yeah, one cable for everything, please. There's only one standardised technology throughout every device. Qi wireless charging. Ooh. It is standardised across everything.
Have you got a wireless charger?
I do, but I don't use it.
Why not?
Yeah, it's quicker, just to plug a wire in.
It's not quicker. I can guarantee it's not quicker. We could do a test on it. It's not quicker than just putting your phone down somewhere. What you really want, though, is your whole table to be Qi instead of just...
No, I mean as in it charges quicker.
Oh, it charges quicker. Sorry, I thought you meant it's quicker to do.
No. Wireless charging is convenient to do, and I think when I have... when I get a nicer one and use it overnight. So I've only had a cheap one and I don't love it. I don't love the cheap wireless charger. I'm going to spend a little bit more to get a nice one of the Belkin ones where you put it down, it sort of stays there.
I don't know how I haven't check my charging time because I've got two versions. I've got a very cheap one, but also bought an IKEA one that was a bit more expensive, but I don't know how quickly it charges.
I'm not too sure it changes the speed of it. It's just like how... no, it does with the power delivery from the cable. I'm not sure. So yeah, USB-C is the future. Standardization is better. I wish they put it in the new iPhones, but they haven't. It's great to see them actually adopting it.
Definitely the next generation of iPhones, I would absolutely expect to be USB-C.
100%. 100%. I bought the AirPods.
Yeah.
You remember in our last podcast, I was definitely considering getting them. Yeah. I bought them. I did a video on the AirPods when I first got them, and I did another one comparing them to the Bose QC35s. Now, when I first bought the AirPods, I went to the Apple store, and I was concerned that because the earpods don't fit me, they fall out of my ears. I was worried that these would too. So I got them, I took them out, I put them in my ear, the test one in the Apple store, gave it the good old shake test. Do they fit? And they fit absolutely fine. They had no problems with them. They're a bit heavier. They just fit in my ear nicely. So there and then I bought them. And I found I use them a lot more than my Bose headphones. The sound quality is not as good. The sound's good, but it's nowhere near as good as the Bose headphones. There's a big difference in price, isn't there, as well? There is a big difference in price, but if you're bougie enough to buy a pair of wireless headphones, you're going to sort of have the money to spend. So you can save up the same amount of time you have for the AirPods and get yourself the Bose headphones. But for me, it's all down to convenience. Do you want a pair of headphones that you can take around with you, or do you just want the best headphones, no matter if that means taking something out with you more often? And for me, 100%, I'll go for the Bose headphones. I don't value convenience that much. I think it's very useful. It's a nice to have. And I use them way, way, way more than my Bose headphones.
Well, we had a discussion, didn't we, earlier about Bose headphones, because I bought the Bose QC35s the day they came out.
Yeah.
I'd been looking at them for a while. I've loved them ever since. I use them maybe not every day, because I don't travel with them evermore, because rather than go for the AirPods, what did I go for? I went for the Jabra 65Ts.
Yeah, we touched on that when we spoke about the last podcast.
We didn't have them though, did we? Neither of us
you had them. You had them.
Did I?
Yeah, because that's why I made the decision to buy these.
Okay.
Because you had yours, and I was just interested to try the AirPods. And I've tried both. I prefer the AirPods because they connect seamlessly. The wireless charging case is smaller and a little bit more sleek. The sound quality of those is better.
Yes.
They create more of a seal on your ears. I prefer how these look.
I still think they fall out of my ears. These stay in my ears. They're stuck there. I love the sound quality. I think the sound quality of these is far superior than the Apple ones. However, two things I would say. I bought them for my wife. She absolutely loves them. Uses them every single day. If I try to take them away from her now, she wouldn't let me have them at all. But haven't you had some issues as well with yours?
I've had a few issues, yeah. One of them is they haven't always connected as easy as I want them to, and the right one didn't charge, but that has fixed now.
Okay.
They charge fine. Battery life, I'm happy with. It charges as you go. I can leave them for a couple of days, use them for 2-3 hours at a time.
The charging cases are great, aren't they?
Oh, they are great.
They really are. To have them. They both have the charging case. I don't have any problem. No problem with a day's usage, 2 days usage.
When you just take them out and put them in your ear, do they connect?
Yeah, straight away.
That's good.
So they connect straight away. They connect.
What about when you're switching to your iPad?
They connect to my iPad straight away. They connect to both of them.
Which one do they? Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Two things straight away.
I'm intrigued by them, but I prefer my AirPods. They're a little bit smaller. I like them. So AirPods good. Your headphones good. We have different uses.
But we're convinced around Bluetooth headphones in general.
Oh, 100%. I've not used wired headphones for 2 years, and so when they lost their headphone jack, it wasn't a massive deal for me.
Exactly, it didn't even bother me at all.
I love wireless headphones. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
100%.
we're agreed. Bluetooth headphones definitely the way to go, and let's see where the technology moves on from there.
Agreed. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there because we have a few more things we were going to talk about. The smart home tech.
But James has run out of SD cards.
I've run out of SD cards to replace, and also we've been going for a little bit longer than we expected. We will pick up on those bits in the next episode of the Beer&Tech podcast. But
maybe we'll do that in Spain.
Yeah, okay. Let's just go to Spain next week.
Just to do a podcast and come back.
Get away from this weather.
That's good, doesn't it?
Oh, it sounds lovely. But this has been really fun. If you did like it, please leave us a review, subscribe. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel for more of this content. And we'll wrap it up there.
Bye all.
Bye-bye. Behind the scenes of the Beer&Tech podcast, what do you think of that, Dad?
Cheers.
Get this set up, lovely.
Is the party still going on next door?
Oh, do you want to go over?
No. So no, it's going
Yeah,
on.
you can see them.